welcome everyone. Welcome to the Sexy Show. It's that time again. And I'm so happy because I have somebody who I admire so much. And boy, has she come a long way in all this sexiness. Please help me welcome Michelle Barker. Welcome, Michelle. Thank you so much and for being here
Yeah,
on the
thank,
Sexy
yeah,
Show. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Thank you for allowing me to be on your show. I look up to you. You've been such a mentor to me throughout my life as well. So I'm happy to do this with you.
We've had so many. Oh my gosh, we went through a lot. But before we go into that, let's talk about you. Introduce yourself, please, and make sure you mention that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so my name is Michelle Barker. I'm an author with a radio show, and my passion is to see people go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset through self-development content.
That's it.
That's it. No, I can keep going on. I was born in Panama. My mother's from El Salvador. We emigrated here to Canada. Uh, Went through a lot of just rebellious and painful experiences because of my sexual abuse as a little girl. But unfortunately, it was buried. So I had the symptoms of somebody who had gone through that, but no memory of it. So when I had my son at 17 years old, I really had to, as they say, get it together and really excelled in business, really excelled in my career, still always felt like something was missing. So that was when I started taking my self-development seriously. And I was just like, wow, why isn't anybody teaching this at that time? So now I teach people everything that I've learned that's helped me. And this is why I've written my book, You Are Not the Only One, that's available on Amazon. And that's why all my social media accounts are just full with positivity and with light and encouragement. So that is me in more of a nutshell.
That's better, Michelle. But
I
then
know, right?
and you get to know Michelle. This is a different Michelle to when I met Michelle. Let me tell you that one. So for those who know me,
Yeah.
thank you so much. For those who know me, sorry, thank you so much for always supporting me and everything that we do and our guests make us feel welcome. And for those who don't know me, because there might be people on Michelle's side that don't know me, my name is Dianne Ojar. I am the president and CEO of Olive Media Network. That's what Michelle knows me from, as
Yes.
well as
Yes.
an author, radio show host. Michelle knows me from that realm as well. TV,
Yeah, that's right.
radio, the experiential coach, the elephant in the room. My background is NLP and hypnotherapy as well. I'm a master practitioner in hypnotherapy as well, and also most recently the Dow Hands practitioner, the the Eye Hands practitioner, which is a healer, and that's a whole nother story, which Michelle also experiences. So
Yeah.
check me out, learn, figure out LinkedIn everywhere. That's it. This is about the show. This is about the sexy show. So Michelle,
Yes.
first of all, I have to say thank you so much for being so honest and open. I know when we met many moons ago, way back in like
Mhm.
2015, that's when we had that office, the studio. You just came and you volunteered and you wanted to learn so much. And, we did so much. We went many places. A lot of people in my life at the time who's no longer around for reasons that they moved on, we moved up, we moved on, and everything else in terms of our spiritual journey because we're all on a spiritual journey. And unfortunately, we cannot carry people on our journey when they don't want to be on our journey or it's not congruent to who they are.
That's right.
The sexy show is all about not what it is. And there's a disclaimer there. As you know, you can go and read the disclaimer. This is not about sex. This is not about intercourse. This is about us feeling confident and sexy about ourselves and sexy about your website and sexy about the book. And I would say, Michelle, is this you? Because I kind of think I know Michelle in a dress, something like this. And this could be Michelle.
Yeah.
Just like, it's funny, Michelle, as I saying that, people think my family thinks this is me.
Right. And it's not.
It's not me. Just like this is
Yeah.
not you, but it can be. So
Yeah.
I applaud you for that. But I really
Thank
applaud
you.
you for being open. And I know it's
Mhm.
very difficult. We've had conversations, many, many, many conversations over the years, especially when you were with us and you were volunteering with us and having so much fun and you're always there. And we had so many road trips and we were places that we didn't even know we were going to be, and we've done so
Yeah.
many things. So thank you so much for that. But I really could not have done the show without you because you've been on my mind and saying, you and Rose, oh my gosh, that's a whole
I
nother
know. I
story.
love Rose.
So let me ask you this question. What
Right.
does sexiness mean to you?
Wow. Okay. So starting off with like the definition of sexiness is for me is a woman that is self-confident about who she is. So, her value is not based externally on other people. It's based on herself and just her spiritual relationship with the universe. And, and as also a woman that doesn't need other people's validation in order to move through life and in order to be herself, whatever that self is, whatever that sexual orientation is, So to me, that's a woman that's not trying to be someone that she's not is definitely sexy for sure.
Oh, that's lovely. And thank you. I'm just picturing, you guys would see me thinking and thinking because I know Michelle in a whole different light. What she's come to now, it's amazing. And I
Yeah.
celebrate your journey with you. And I'm so happy. I'm always there whenever you need to. And I know off and on we've always connected and
Yeah.
so forth.
Yeah.
But I'm so thrilled that you writing this book and empowering you actually quit your job to really do this full time. So, but I
That's
gotta go
right.
back. I gotta go back to that memory I mentioned to you prior when you first discovered the carnival, and
Oh,
um, you know you. I remember we were filming
right.
the carnival celebration here, and you got the opportunity to what we call play mass and put in this costume, which most when we talk about costume, it's not what most people think this costume is. This costume is practically nothing on the
Yeah.
body. And
And a lot of feathers.
I remember those are the days when you.
Yeah.
I've never. Okay, I gotta say this. I gotta say a lot of things about Michelle. I've never seen a woman drink so much wine. In a different world. She wear heels this high
Yeah.
and never fall down.
Oh my gosh, but heels were comfortable for me. So, yeah, no. I'm actually more comfortable in heels than I am in flats, believe it or not.
Yeah, Michelle, I don't know how you pulled that off. I don't know how you pulled that off. It was amazing. But at that time you were looking for something, and we're going to be real about this. You were looking for something. You were searching. You didn't know a lot of things now that you didn't know about the abuse at the time until you were writing the book, and that's a whole nother
That's
story. We'll
right.
talk about that.
Right.
But the fact is, going back to that time, you discovered something about yourself in that moment. So tell us a
Hmm.
little bit about, that journey about discovery and how you got more comfortable. You've been up with your weight because Michelle was a freak about, I mean, the gym. When I met Michelle, Michelle was always in the gym. She was so disciplined about the gym.
Right. Yeah.
And you've gone through the ups and downs. You've put on the weight, you've lost the
My
weight, you've
weight.
put on
Yeah.
the weight, and still, at least you still feel, it's not about the weight, it's about how you feel inside and the confidence you have. So, why don't you take us a little bit on your journey? And I'm going to
Yeah.
put you where everybody can see you now. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. Right. Well, in regards to the carnival makes every woman feel sexy no matter what her weight is. Right? So you see really skinny girls, you see really big girls, and there is like no body shaming. And I think that's why I connected with the carnival because they make it so comfortable for women of all sizes. They're very inclusive like that to go there. And to wear a bikini with feathers and to be half naked, and nobody's looking down on you. Nobody, like, it's a very empowering experience. And I always say, like, as a woman, if you have ever the opportunity to play mass, you should do it at least once in your lifetime. Like, I've only done it once, but I'd like to do it, at least a couple more times, because everybody's there literally just for fun and to be happy. And I think that's one of the sexiest states you can be, when you are happy with your body, when you have self acceptance. You might gain weight, you might lose weight, um, but your worth just like really never changes with the fluctuation of your weight. So that's why I love the carnival. Like, literally, you went there, you're half naked, and you just had a blast. And it was one of the most liberating, like physically liberating experiences that I've ever personally had at any event. Because generally, like, wherever you go, people are always judging you for the way that you look, for the way that you dress. But there, people are just like, come as you are. And that's why I loved it, because it really was all about the costume and the beauty of the costume and how it complements, like, moreover, it always complements a woman's body no matter what the size, but about the music. And I don't think I've ever, like, it was, and it's just like a sexy environment. So you have like the guys that look great, the women that look great, everybody there just to have, fun. In terms of the fluctuation of my weight, I think for me, it's just, you have to listen to your body, right? So if you gain weight, you sometimes it's not just because you might not be going to the gym. I know for me, I gained a lot of weight at a certain point in my time, because I was in a relationship with a guy that I shouldn't have been in. So my body was protecting me from this guy. So I gained an insane amount of weight. And then when I met Dianne, for some reason, I just gotten out of that relationship and all the weight just like really melted off. But for me, it's like I just feel sexy in my skin all the time, because of the internal dialogue that I have within myself. Me working out is for me to be my best self. It's not really to um, impress anybody or to get a boy or anything like that. It's just for me to make my body stronger, because I'm able to do, like, just the health benefits of working out is essentially why I do it. So it's like to feel better, to feel happier, to strengthen my body so I can lift more stuff, or just cardio wise, just to be able to um, go long distances or do things for long periods of times without always being winded. So my self confidence hasn't really changed. For me, it was the fact that I had very undiagnosed trauma throughout most of my life until I wrote the book. That's when, like, the memory of my grandmother came in, and I remembered her talking about it, but I had no memory of it. So that's how, like, that's also part of the reason why I fluctuated in weight recently. So I don't know if you wanted me to go deeper into that, or
Well, we'll see where this goes. So, first of all,
right,
I got to address the carnival. Okay, the carnival
right.
has a lot to do with alcohol. So,
It does have a lot to do with alcohol as well.
oh yeah. So when you're having
Yeah,
a gay old time,
right.
I can't see right now. A gay old time,
Hmm.
you can't really see anything, and nothing registers with you. So, but
Oh no.
I remember seeing your
Yeah.
face when you came up to us in front of the camera
Right.
when your band came up, and it was like, "Oh my
Mhm.
God, this is what this is."
Yeah.
Here's one of the
Yeah.
things I have to say to you
Right.
is you and Rose always used to push me to get out
Right.
of my comfort zone because well, my body has a lot of different things. I was born with practically, and I grew up with practically. So there's not much. You will never see me in a costume like that because I have a lot of scars and marks that I have no
Right.
control over. and so forth. So there was self-esteem and certain things I still see up to this day that certain people will not see me or whatever the case may be. And I have to bring up this suit thing because I know when I sent the picture to you, not to focus on me, but when I sent you the picture with the white suit, you were like, it's about, the white suit, the picture with the
Yeah,
white
I remember the white
suit.
suit.
You were just, you and Rose are like, it's about time. But it's because of
Right,
you and Rose.
right,
It's you and yours
right.
that you push me. And when you think about this, like that's who the two people that come to mind. Why?
Hmm.
Because you all were there helping me through this journey as well.
Hmm.
So I want to officially thank you for that because now, yeah,
No.
but I don't let it bother because again, it's has nothing to do with the outside. But when I look at that, I don't even think the suit could fit me anymore. And it was only 2 years ago, because your weight
Yeah,
fluctuates and so forth and different things. And
right.
it's a power suit because I was
It is.
representing men, and the women, I was how I'm a woman and men, and I
Mhm,
represent both sides of myself. But this is
mhm.
what it is that people like yourself do to others when you empower them. Because this book is, yes, I'm going to mention the book throughout the whole thing. Okay,
Okay.
what are instructions
I love it. I love it.
about empowerment? This is about
Yeah, it is.
so. Before we go to your journey, your story, um, when you talk to women about sexiness, what do you hear? What do they tell you? What are some of the feedback you get from women who are seeking to find out what sexy means to them?
Wow. Well, the thing is, it's like what I hear from women is a lot of their conditioning, right? Their religious and their family oriented conditioning. A woman can't have casual sex, or it's just like within the confines of marriage, or like that they feel ashamed that they feel like when they have sex, because they were taught it was a dirty thing. All of us have a different conditioning as it pertains to sex. So, for the most part, I feel like society doesn't really care if women enjoy sex all that much. You know what I mean? So, when I talk to women about that, it's always like within like a negative context because, especially me growing up in the church, you had to be a virgin. It could only be with your husband. Like there were so many rules given to women, but those aren't really taught to men. They don't tell men you have to be a virgin. You know what I mean? They don't tell men it's with you only can only have sex in your marriage. Like they don't say that to guys. And they have their reasons as to why they do it to women, but like I'm not accepting the status quo as it pertains to that. You know what I mean? And going back to the white suit, right? It was because people don't really know the woman that, like, to the extent the woman that you are, all the connections you have and the people, you're rubbing elbows with, and, that you own like this media company, you're very humble about it. So it's like me and Rose were always just pushing that suit to match. It's like, really represent more of who you are, because you're a person that's in front in the limelight, but you also are very comfortable being behind the scenes as well. Like you're very generous in terms of connecting people and all that. So you fluctuate in and out. So it was just like, you're a boss. So dress like a boss, sometimes, not all, you don't have to do it all the time, you
Well,
know.
believe me, you know, I reach a point now. It's not about anybody, more or less. It really doesn't matter to me. And I always say to people,
Right.
um, when you're going to have, I've said to, I don't, I think I may have said this to you. If you're
Right.
going to have, first of all, I want to say something before I even go there. We're
Mhm.
not saying anything about, having any, um, outside the scope of your marriage to go and do things. And I don't want anybody to misinterpret Michelle as saying, if they believe that's what she said, you need to do what you need to do because
No,
this book,
I'm not saying that.
no, I know, but people might say this book has a lot to do with God references as well. Okay, so let me just tell you this.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do with it. So don't think you need to get a copy of the book. Pick up a copy of the book. Pick up a copy of the book.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I just want to make sure we understand this so people understand
Yeah.
this. And I'm just
Mhm.
going to back up her information here. Um,
Right.
if you're going to anybody who's in a relationship, you need to be
Mhm.
in a relationship for you, not for the other person. Don't get me wrong. Let me explain what that means.
Mhm.
It's a
Right.
partnership. But what you're going to put into it, you will get out of it. So if you want to sit down there and be boring and it's not going to be attractive, the sexiness is not going to be attractive to your partner because you wonder why your partner strays is because you're boring. Okay. But you may
Right.
be comfortable in the
Exactly.
boring. But you know what? I always talk about it, and I have it right here. It's about the Kama Sutra in it. It's to learn the act of love making, the Kama Sutra. Yeah, yes, it's a big book. No, I never read the book, but yes, a Kama Sutra book. I know enough about it. I don't even have to read about it.
Yeah.
Catch the movie. Catch the movie. It's very interesting. Well, it's a
I saw the
history.
movie.
You saw the movie, right?
It was good.
Isn't that empowering?
Yeah, it was actually really
The
good.
first time I saw the movie was like my kids were young, and I saw them. I was like, okay, it was late at night, probably breastfeeding or feeding them or whatever the story was. No, it wasn't breastfeeding because I didn't breastfeed them for that long. But and I was like, and then after years went by, and I looked at it again, and I saw it from two different eyes, especially after I had my NLP. And I was like, okay, this is about you. It's about your sexuality, what you want out of it. So I go and say to people and the clients, go and you have it for you.
Right.
Don't plan anything. You can go and freshen up and do what you got to do, but you go and you have it for you. The other
Right.
person, you don't even have to tell them what you're doing. Just
Mhm.
grab them. They're not going to say no, but I can guarantee you. And if you understand what Kama Sutra is, you'll
Right.
understand. Now, you have to be very cautious about Kama Sutra because it has its pros and cons, okay? It can be very
Right.
dangerous to a certain degree. But I can
Mhm.
tell you,
Yeah.
they will have no complaints. And you will reach to a point that there's a point of no return.
Right.
All I gotta say about that. Go do it. Figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
And this is what sexuality is about. It's about your website, making it attractive to people. Your podcast. Yes, Michelle, you forgot to say. Now, I said to you, we don't call it podcast, but you call it podcast. I call it radio
It's
show
a podcast.
podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. Let it be.
Right.
Podcast sounds a little boring to me. Make it sexy. Say it's a radio show. Okay? We have a
Right.
deal with that.
And I did.
Great job on your show.
Thank you.
I heard your show and I actually knew your guest. And I was like, is that the same? And it was. um,
Yeah.
so happened
Roger. I know.
that's what I just happened to listen to, and I happened to know Roger. But I met Roger.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we both met Roger the same day.
Oh, well, I actually met him through you.
Right.
So,
No, the same
yeah.
day. I think you were there. Weren't you there?
Yeah,
Oh,
no, that's what I mean. I was at your studio working that day.
yeah.
And that's how I met a lot of great people through your studio. Yeah.
Thank you. So again, great job, and the platform, and you've come a long way. And I know at the beginning you were struggling how to do this and cost wise,
Mhm.
but you've done an amazing job. So I applaud you for that. And
Thank
you're
you.
doing some things, and it's about time we hear about Michelle and let Michelle be comfortable in who she is. So that's the sexiness in Michelle. That's what it is. Now, in
Right.
terms of your weight, you are comfortable in your body right now, in who you are at
Mhm.
this moment, because as you know, every day you can change your tomorrow today. You can dictate your
That's right.
tomorrow today. But if you are happy where you are today and to
Right.
going tomorrow, you can work on tomorrow. And it's not like, I know before when you would go to the gym, you used to freak out if you didn't go to the gym. You
Yeah.
literally freak out. Now it's like, you know, I
I'll
am
get there when I get there.
you literally used to freak out. But now the fact is, you're like, okay, when I get there, I get there. I am who I am. And I am, you're God's light. You're the light in his shining armor, right? So I want to
Right.
thank you for that. So let's go to the abuse now.
Okay.
I want to address this in a different angle. You
Mhm.
didn't know what you didn't know. and I know a lot about Michelle because we've had a lot of deep conversations on so many
Right.
different levels.
Right.
You have that relationship with your parents now. And
Yeah.
we had a conversation when you came to drop off the book. So I hope that you've seen things a little bit a different perspective of the way you're rewording your words now. So
100%. Yeah, that was really good.
you have issues with your parents and so forth, but you've seen it different. You have a great relationship with your dad. You have a great relationship with your mom too. You may not
Right.
always agree, but you're looking to see things in perspective because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you give a negative to anything or anyone, particularly in your lineage, your
Mhm.
ancestors' bloodline, it will come
Mhm.
back to you because you have Elijah in your life. You had him when he
Right.
was 17. Um,
Right.
and now he's on his own and you're still young and amazing. So you don't have to worry about the little kids, whatever. But here's the thing. When that abuse that you didn't know about until you had a vision. So why don't you really tell that story about how that came about? Because you knew something was wrong. You just
Mhm.
didn't know that what it is. You had no idea because nobody ever told you anything. Now, do you
Right.
feel that was one of the reasons why you're very promiscuous? Because you talk about it in the book, so I have permission to talk because you talk about it. You're rebellious.
I was
All those things.
promiscuous. Yes.
Michelle, do you remember the conversation we used to have in the car when we were driving?
Yes. Yeah. No, it's so funny. And the thing is, it's like, okay, like, so what had happened was, um, when we moved to Dallas, I was sexually abused by my female babysitter. So that was before the age of, like, before my memory kicks in. My memory doesn't kick in until like about 4 years old. So didn't, like, growing up, I didn't really think there was anything wrong because as a child, like, I'm playing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It was more or less once I started getting into boys where I started noticing, you know what, I'm not able to connect. And I used to think it was more them, not knowing that it was at least 50% me, if not in some cases 100%. But my body kept the trauma, but my mind, had no memory of it. So, I've been married twice, and not dealing with the sexual trauma of what I'd been through definitely affected those marriages. And I take my responsibility, like, in the dissolution of it. But yeah, it wasn't until I wrote the book and the memory of my grandmother came up that I was like, oh, okay, so this really did happen. Because I remember I would speak to my ex-husband, and I would say I feel like I was sexually abused, but I have no memory of it. But like, I all the symptoms of it would just be present, like the depression, like the weight fluctuations, um, among other things. So when I healed my trauma, it made me more aware of how dysfunctional I really was. And the thing is, like, I used to chalk up my lifestyle, to it just being my lifestyle, girl in the city, fun and fabulous, just gets to do whatever she wants, fiery,
That's the
0 to 100.
That's the
Yeah,
Michelle I knew.
0 to 100 real quick. You know what I mean? If you ever knew me, drinking, partying, the drugs, because that is part of like Toronto lifestyle. Especially if you're in the industry, those are not uncommon things, right? It was just the level of it that was dysfunctional. So as I started healing myself, I started noticing how I had a real problem with intimacy, not a problem with sex, but a part of really opening my heart up for real connection. So, so I had to heal that. I had to stop. I had to stop dating, and I had to really heal it. And now I'm more optimistic in the future for something happening. But I mean, it was very dysfunctional, Dianne.
Michelle, I know, I know, Michelle, I know,
Oh my God, it was so
I know.
bad.
No,
I mean,
no,
I have no regrets. I have no regrets about it. You know what I
no,
mean?
no,
Because
no, 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 no,
it
no. Okay,
wasn't like,
no, okay.
yeah, I have
Let's
zero
talk.
regrets. I lived my best life,
Yeah,
hands down.
here is what it is. I've always said this. First of all,
Mm.
I've always said that your past experience would lead you to a life destiny. This is your destiny now. If you did
Right.
not understand this or did not
Right.
live through this, in the book you
Right.
talk about you didn't choose your parents in this particular life that you know it, but it's been you chose it way before on a spiritual level. We have
Right.
one soul that chose it.
Right.
But if you didn't go through this, now here it is, the biggest lessons, because you have some karma that you had to deal with people in the past, and this is where your contract, there's contracts, so your contracts are now up with some people, yes or no. And you may meet someone and say, I know that person, you connect with that person. Well, I really don't connect with that person is because you don't have that connection. But
Right.
if you didn't go through this, you will not, because we had talked about it. So you have to walk the walk in order to talk the talk. This is why I feel nothing I do is just comes and this is handed to me on a platter. You know
Right.
what I've been through and what I go through to be sitting here today and so forth and still going through it because
Mhm.
again, I have to go through that experience. I could talk to Michelle and talk to everybody else and say, well, this is what my this is my opinion. What you probably should or shouldn't do, only
Right.
because and the people that you connect with and you work with is no different or not disconnected from who your life is because it's always a mirror, a certain degree that you kind of resonate with what's going on with somebody else's life.
Mhm.
If you didn't do this, it would happen. And I know Michelle in those days. If But here's what, it's I never judge Michelle that way because she has a good heart. Michelle put through with us. She would come on her own accord, come on her own time, sit there, and she was always there. Her heart was always there. She was seeking for this,
Mhm.
and she needed to. And we've had very deep, 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 deep conversation and sessions, and so forth.
Mhm.
So yes, there should be no regrets whatsoever because it made
Yeah.
you strong and the person you are. And the thing about it is, I know some people, well, maybe
Mm.
one or two, that you had conversations with or been with, and you're still friends with them because you matured. They've matured, and the
And I'm
fact
also
is,
good in bed, so you know.
good for you, girl.
Right?
Good for you. Give me
Always
a high
somehow.
five. Give me a high five. Hey, give me a high five. Hey, where's my high five?
High five.
We used to always high
Some of
five
you.
in the street.
Listen, when you're good in bed, guys keep coming back. Don't stay friends with you. It doesn't mean you
Okay, so
revisit.
let's take this. It's good and bad. No, listen, like I said, we know Kama Sutra, okay?
Right? Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm not kidding, guys. But
No,
here's
I
the thing
know.
about it. Here's the thing about it. When you were going through all of this, did you feel less sexy than you are right now? Or you weren't conscious of it, but when you look back, did you feel the same way? You were in your skin and you could sit there and be open and say, I'm good in bed. Well, good for you that you ain't good in bed, but you're good in bed for you. They're the ones that
True.
benefit from it because
Yeah,
you
pretty
can
much.
tell somebody, but here's the thing. You can tell someone, and here's a problem we have with partners. We don't tell the partner what we want.
Oh, I do.
Well, Michelle, we're going to have the sexy show part two on that one.
Okay. I
I
give
rated
you
on
some
that one.
tips.
Um,
So
but
yeah.
yes,
So
and
I
then that's how you're confident in yourself and you tell them because that's where you know what you want as a woman, what you want that makes you feel good. And that's what the sexiness isn't about you. You can speak your truth and tell them, hey, what it is you want. I don't know if Michelle wants to share what it is she wants publicly, but I'm sure she probably could tell us a tip or two. Um,
yeah. No, but sexuality is all about communication. You know what I mean? Like you can't sit there and assume that your partner knows, and there are people that are skilled enough to give you a certain level of pleasure. But the thing is, like, if you aren't in tune with your own body, only you really know what works and what doesn't work. And I think for me, my confidence in my sexuality has grown as I've experimented, as I've tried new things, like doing the carnival, and the Kama Sutra, that's also a metaphor for just looking into sexuality, because you also have to know what sex they say like what your sexuality is. So if you're energetic, if you're kinky, if you're, straight to the point, everybody's different. So it's like as you self explore and get more in tune with yourself, then you just become a better partner for the other person, and also reciprocating that. So it's also meeting where your partner is at. So for me, like I just watched Sex, Love, and Goop on Netflix, which is all about couple different types of couples and their sexuality. Like I'm into that stuff, watching the Kama Sutra movie, reading the Kama Sutra book. Me and my girlfriends, we openly talk about sex,
Yeah.
and they're married, whether they're married or not. Like we have those open dialogues whenever we want to. So I have no shame, because see, I grew up completely like, oh, you have to be a virgin when you get married. Okay, but if you lost your virginity at 2 years old, how does that apply to you? You know what I mean? And knowing that it happened to me, it was still being preached to me that I needed to be a virgin.
Okay, hold
And,
there for a second. Hold there for a
yeah,
moment.
right,
Let's define this to make sure people understand this, okay? Um,
right,
and to let you know, you were sexually molested, abused by a female babysitter, right?
yeah,
Now, we're not talking about, and we're going to be a little graphic here, but for those who don't like it, too bad, so sad. This is Michelle and Dianne here.
right,
So those who are catching us,
right,
catch us in the replay and share this with people, and that's it. So
right.
there's no penetration. So physically, there was no that abuse whereby you have that penetration where you lost your virginity, right? Is that
Well, see,
correct?
that's the thing that we don't know, right? Because
Cool.
she had me for most of the day. So I don't know. I feel like there was penetration, if not at least with, like, let's say the hands or something. So to me, like, there was definitely like an internal violation for
Okay, so
sure.
that's what we want to
Yeah,
define. Now, in terms of if anything was damaged or broken as a virgin, we don't know that, or I don't know that, you would know that, or maybe you would know that for the first time you actually had sex. That when you really became not a virgin officially, you would know this or not.
right.
But the thing, and that's what I wanted to people to understand is
Mhm.
you felt violated. Did that violation really I know it made you very angry, confused, not knowing, and you had taken that anger to your parents,
Right. Yeah, I displaced it
right?
for
So
sure.
why did you go to your parents? Because I never spoke about it, but then about 38 years old, when you write in the book this, suddenly you came up with a vision or a dream or to the effect, sorry, your grandmother
Right.
talking about this, and this is how you found out. But you
Right.
and your mom knew about it.
My mom did know about it, but her generation, they don't really talk about anything. Now my mom's a lot more forthcoming and open because she's done her own work. You know what I mean? So proud of her. But
I am
my
so
father,
proud. I am so proud to hear that you're proud of your mom. Okay.
I know, I know, I know. She's
How much you
awesome.
love your
Yay!
mom? How much you love you? How
I
much
know
you
this.
love?
I was very, very angry at my mom. And, my father wasn't there with me growing up. My parents, they weren't together.
But your
Um,
wait a minute, but your father is military, so that's a totally different discipline. He was
he
military.
was in the middle. That's right. But I didn't understand that. You know what I mean? I didn't know that growing up. It wasn't until I was like, I think 26, where I sat down and I had this conversation with him, right? So, my sexuality I've had to heal my sexuality. It was damaged for a little while, but I had to have these conversations with my parents. I had to have these conversations with family members to heal my heart so that I could function within a healthy sexual environment with someone.
Now, what about
So
Elijah? How the conversations that you've had with Elijah now as he's on?
listen, I told my son, live your best life, just wear a condom. I've never made my son feel ashamed of his sexuality the way that I was growing up. So for me it's always like, have consenting sex between two consenting adults in an atmosphere where people are not lying. You know what I mean? So just be upfront
Maturity.
with
It's
all
about
your,
maturity.
yeah, maturity and all your expectations, and then being able to handle it. I have some girlfriends that they can only have sex within a relationship, and that's great, and they feel ashamed. They're like, well, I wish I could be more casual like other people. I'm like, no, if that's how you were built, stay within that space and find somebody that you can be like that with. I have other girlfriends that never want to be in a relationship, and they can handle the casualness of not being, with somebody. So for me, it's just like about all of, don't be gay and pretending to be straight. Like, just really own who you are, regardless of your sexual orientation, regardless of your preferences and needs. And nobody has to feel ashamed of anything. So if you like toys, use toys. If you don't like toys, don't use toys. But if you don't like toys, don't say you like toys and then resent the person for using them. Like, it just doesn't, it makes sense. And I think that's the work that I do with women around sex, is that you do not have to be ashamed for what you like and what you want, and for doing what you're doing. You just really don't. Because I don't remember anywhere in the Bible where Jesus made any woman feel ashamed for anything that they did. It was always men, that were making them feel bad. And women, but there probably were women too. I'm not trying to say that it was all guys, you know?
Well, thank you. So Ralph Staples says, nice interview. And by the way, Ralph is the one for the music and the introduction and the outro you're going to hear. So he created it. So if anybody would like to actually, Michelle, if you're looking for a promo, you're looking for a jingle, something, reach out to
Yeah,
Ralph Staples. That's
I definitely am going to. Yeah,
Steel
100%.
Staples. So we can actually Steel Staples. So we can actually chat about that. I was talking today about the not to take away from what we're talking about, but
Right.
because I have him here, he is all the music we have for all of our shows was done by Ralph.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yes, he is a producer, songwriter, he's a performer, everything else. Big heart, love Ralph. Thank you so much for everything that you do and our support. Thank you. So, soulmates, as we go into the last part of it. Soulmates. What is
Right.
your definition of a soulmate?
I feel like soulmate is like somebody that you're very compatible with, like your best friend, somebody that you're working towards mutual goals with. I personally have never, I don't feel like I've met my soulmate, to tell you the truth. I've been with guys that I have a deep respect for, but I feel like I'm still to meet my soulmate.
That's correct. And here's the thing, you can have many soulmates for different reasons, as friendship can be intimate. And your soul, you believe there's the ultimate soulmate, but that you can be with someone who you believe, and there's lust, and there's really someone who you can truly, truly connect with. And you may
Mhm.
never find that person this lifetime. It could be another lifetime and so forth. So you're still searching. But you have to search within yourself first to find out who you are, what you want before. And
Right.
we can talk about, the chakras and so forth. And if your chakras is actually blocked, you're not going to find that soulmate. You're not going to find that love. You're not going to find your business. All that ancestral karma we talk about. And I want to throw some things in here for people to understand. There's a lot of karma cleansing we have to do. There's a lot of forgiveness. I know we did a practice on the weekend when you came to bring the book, and it felt different because there's so many things what you don't know. You have to release that. And there's a science behind all of this to help us become the best we can be. And I applaud you for being open. I applaud you for talking about all of this because you know as well as I do. Well, you knew me after I did my NLP and when I started talking, but now I even started because I wanted to do the show over 10 years ago, the radio will be
Right.
open, and I still have some plans to do some things like really late at night on a different platform where
Mhm.
people could be more open globally, and just to be there in regards to how we can help people get over that hurdle and say, oh my gosh, and hiding behind. No, I am comfortable who I am. And I'll tell you up front, I am not looking for someone who I would not be a notch in anybody's belt. Let me put it that way, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, I know what you're saying. Trust
Right?
me.
It's
Yeah.
a different thing. And I'm sure you're going to say the same thing now compared to the life that you had before. to
Right.
now, it's two different perspective or the mindset that you have about, you know, I'm not saying I'm just that's just me. It has to be
Mhm.
something, a connection. It has to be something more than this. It has to be,
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah.
is. And, regardless or not, at the end of the day, that's what it is because sex is dime a dozen. That is a no-brainer. You can get what you want, but what do you get after that? And that's just me. For those, because I feel comfortable in my skin, you feel comfortable in your
Mhm.
skin. We love who we are, and when you have somebody who says to you, it doesn't matter what you look like, you're beautiful inside out, regardless of what they tell them and they get mad at you, those are the people you look at and say, somebody really care. When you have people really pushing you to have self worth and self love, makes a big difference. It helps us build our sexuality, our
Mhm.
sexiness in us. And again, that's why we're here. We're here talking to Michelle Barker, wrote the book. Yes, Michelle, I'm going to mention the book again. I was told I had to mention the book. So you're not the only.
I'm not mad at it.
I know, I know. I was told you have to mention the book, but I'm absolutely, Michelle, here's the reason why it is. I am absolutely super proud of you because you wanted to do this for a very long time. And now you have your radio show, Michelle. Remember that? Program it, radio show.
Yes.
Great
Called
radio
Soul
show.
Charge.
Soul
Yeah.
Charge. And if you want to be a guest on that, I think following up, I'm going to be on there. I don't know when we're going to be on there. Michelle will let me know.
Yeah. We're gonna be recording an episode soon for it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, God, I don't know what that's going to be like. I'm scared to even
It'll be
ask what
fun.
she's going to be talking about. I think we
It'll
do.
be
We have
fun.
so many hats. We have to talk about things and business and personal and this and branding and so forth. And those who would like to reach out to me, it's info at theexperientialcoach.com. And there's so much more we can talk about. But you need to read Michelle's book. And
Right.
by the way, during all of this, Michelle also did not forget where she came from. And I know she always went to church, regardless of what she was doing, she still went to church. And that is
Yeah.
where she's going to incorporate God in here. And I know it's like a conversation with God you're having. And now you're having a conversation with everyone else about
Yeah.
this and say it's
Right.
okay. You know what? You cannot change the past, especially when you
Right.
have no memory of it. But what you certainly
Right.
can do is ask questions. And I will say this: if you know something is not right in your gut, that's your soul telling you to explore it more and ask the
100%.
questions and
Yep.
ask the
That's it.
questions. Don't wait until 38 years old and figure this out and go through
Right.
life blaming everyone and pointing fingers and so forth. However, Michelle had to go through all of this in order to write this book, in order to have the conversation now and be very open. But I have to say, Michelle, we had some very candid. I actually could visualize us driving on the 401, going somewhere and having conversation, and it was like blunt, straight up. I still remember that.
Yeah.
That was so
Yeah.
funny. It,
Because a woman that is at peace with herself and at peace with God is extremely sexy.
mhm.
I always say, no matter how beautiful a person is on the outside, after a while, like people only see the way that you treat them, right? So it doesn't matter how physically attractive you are, like people will always remember the way that you make them feel, right? So my book does touch on your relationship with God. I believe the chapter is called "It's Not God's Fault."
Let's
That
see.
God is not our problems, God is the help to get us through that. And everything plays a part into your sexuality, even your spirituality, your relationship with God, your relationship with your parents, like it all just really affects it, you know? And I think that's part of the reason why my sexuality is always growing, because I'm always growing as a person.
Well, let's see what chapter that is because I can't find the
I think
content.
it might be number three, three or
Well,
four.
we're going to see. Yes, again, it's
Mhm.
not. Here's
Yeah,
the thing, Michelle's book. We tend to blame God for everything,
that's right.
and here is the funny
That's
thing. I'm going to leave with this.
Right.
In the Bible, it says, I am that I am. We add a different that. Now, if anybody understands this, some people may not resonate, some people may not. It's okay. That's fine with me. The I am is saying, I am me. Here I am. That I am. The I am is reaching out to the I am. So there's a yin and a yang. I'm the yin, our divine source, soul, Tao.
Right.
This is not Taoism. This is the I am. That's the second I am. So I am that I am. So you're reaching out. What people don't understand, we are our own God and goddess inside of us.
Yeah, God said, let us make them into our own image. Right.
Right? We are our own God and goddess. So when we say I am that I am, we add
Right.
a slightly different spin that was sent to me in a message through someone.
Mm-hmm.
I am that I am. So I'm saying to divine God source, here I am. And I'm my own goddess and God me and God and goddess inside of me. And I have the ability to change my destiny today for tomorrow and the
Mm-hmm.
next day and the next day. And I am comfortable who I am. I am here for whatever it is I need to serve humanity. We serve humanity through these different, and of course, the conversation may resonate with people, may not resonate with people. But this is what you do. You're serving humanity by sharing your book, your radio show, having a presence, being comfortable with your skin, in your skin, talking about all these things, because I can guarantee you, again, you are not the only one going through this.
No, that's right. You are not the only one when it comes to anything
And that
towards,
goes for men
you
as
know,
well. That goes for men
yeah,
as well. We don't have to
100%.
dismiss men. Definitely, International Men's Day is coming up November 19th. And we want to make sure the men also understand that it's for men and women that you're not alone. You're not the only one going to be in there. And people, for the different show, they want to know, well, why do I have a gender preference? You in a past life could have been male or female. I was a male. You were a male. You just know this physical vessel, this body you're in right now. You don't know what has happened in the past and where you're going in the future. You just want to know you want to come back as an animal. That's all. To the animals in particular. I'm not kidding.
Right.
It's all about karma. It's about karma.
Right.
So it's karma cleansing, it's purification. That's what we're going through right now. So I want to say to everyone, if you did resonate with this conversation, if you liked what Michelle said, what we spoke about, if you have a question, put it in the comments on the replays. Michelle Barker, you know, I respect her. We've been through so much. She's seen me in the ups and downs, and she really saw me a very difficult time I was going through with my one of my businesses.
Business partner, yeah.
Business partner, you were there, Michelle. You were there, right there in the thick of things. So
Yeah.
you know where it's come from, and decided
Yeah.
that
And
you
how
need.
far you've come, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you.
And you
Yeah.
stood, and what I have to say this to publicly, not because you didn't take sides, but it meant a lot that you understood and you supported that and you were there. And for yourself, you judged and made your own decision on what it is you need to do at that point in time. And you've seen where you've experienced, and all those things were stuff for you to experience as well. But I want to say thank you so much for being that support there, because that was really a very trying, difficult time for me.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I felt like you made the best decision for yourself. And that's, as a person in business, those decisions have to be had because you guys just had different visions for yourself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think that was a great decision for the both of you, but especially for you, I felt like you made the right decision.
Well, thank
A
you. But I
hundred
have to say, at that particular time, um, I had other different support that definitely supported me in that decision and helped me through so much
Yeah.
going further. So I want to say thank you so much for coming on and sharing your book
Oh, this
and
is
the radio
awesome.
show and talking about some of the what back memories about what we
It
were
is.
talk about. and little conversations and
Yeah.
I'm like, but I still cannot forget. I have one great memory of you. We were at the
Oh,
barbecue.
please do tell. Do tell. I want to hear
We
this.
were, we were at the barbecue, right? Remember the barbecue
Which
with,
one?
with Jason for the
Oh my
barbecue for
god.
the mortgage company.
Oh yeah.
And Michelle, there were stairs. Michelle was drunk as a
Yeah, a
skunk,
little tipsy.
drunk as a skunk, with these high heels on. But she had somebody helping her walk. I'll never forget that. And she never once fell down.
Yeah, I don't.
You
Yeah,
know,
you don't have to
honest,
fall. Yeah, I get that. That was so long ago.
my God, the girl, and the higher the shoe, the thinner it is, the better it was. And she had a
Yeah,
balance. So it just goes to show symbolically that you have a balance. Anybody could balance on any of that and never fall in their face. I'm telling
yeah.
you, she twists her foot, she turned her foot, she this or whatever, but she never fell down. Is comfortable in her skin. You
But
don't
that
have
was a
to.
very wild mortgage party too. You know what I mean? Like it's not
We
like
wouldn't,
all the
we wouldn't
parties
even,
were
we
just
wouldn't even go there.
yeah,
Girl, I had so
yeah,
many stairs and food, it wasn't even funny.
yeah. No, I get that. Okay,
But I want to say thank you so much for joining us and being so
welcome.
frank and candid, because it just shows that, you know what, we can laugh about it now, like we are right now. We can laugh about it, we can talk about it, and we could have so much fun. And, I am so happy. And again, if people want to get to Michelle, get to myself, thank you. And I'm so happy that you are who you are now and where you've gotten to, and the fact you're taking this to a whole nother level. So thank you so much for being with us. And if
Oh,
anybody
thank
has
you,
any
dear.
questions, this is Dianne and Michelle saying, take your sexiness back. Get
Uh,
into it, have some fun, you know,
yeah,
do whatever you want. But whatever it is you do, make sure you do it for you. That's what I
100%.
gotta say. 100%. Here she's the boss. She is
Yeah,
she's the boss today. She's my boss today. So
I'm
thank you
not.
so much, Michelle. Thank you for everyone who's
Okay,
been joining
thank you,
us. And I cannot say enough how much this show means to many people. I've gotten so much good feedback about the show and what
dear.
this is doing and fun. And this is one of the most watched shows of all the shows that we do. Why? And the crazier it is the more people we have on it. So that's why. So thank you so. I'm not kidding you. So
Yeah,
thank you
but
so much, Michelle. Thank you, everybody. And
you're welcome.
until next time, this is Deanne and Michelle on the Sexy Show saying, have some fun, do for yourself, go crazy, but keep smiling and keep laughing, for it keeps you young. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. See you.